Why do some men in serious relationships still go after other women? It is not always just about physical attraction. Many times it comes from a much deeper psychological conflict. If you have ever been chased by a man who already has a wife or girlfriend, you know how confusing the situation can feel. He may seem honestly interested in you. He may even look torn inside, yet he never fully lets go of his current relationship. So what is really happening? Is it because of you? Is it because of him? Or is there something much deeper hidden inside the unconscious mind? This is not only about cheating or selfish behavior, even though those things can certainly play a role. Human behavior is usually far more complicated than it first appears. Many of our choices are shaped by forces we barely notice, hidden desires, old emotional wounds, and parts of ourselves that stay buried beneath the surface. These unseen forces often push people into repeating the same painful patterns again and again. When a man who is already committed starts chasing another woman, it is often because he is struggling with something unresolved inside himself. There is a gap between what he believes he wants and what his deeper mind is secretly searching for. He may place his unmet emotional needs, private fantasies, or ignored parts of his personality onto someone new. What feels like powerful love can actually be mistaken identity. Stay with me because the next part reveals why this pattern keeps repeating in ways most people never notice. A powerful inner image often shapes the way a man experiences attraction, emotional connection, and even his search for meaning. This is not about appearance or personal taste alone. It is a deep psychological pattern that influences how he sees women and what he believes will finally make him feel complete. When a man in a committed relationship becomes deeply interested in another woman, he is often not seeing her for who she truly is. Instead, he is placing onto her the qualities missing from his own inner life. She becomes a symbol of tenderness he has hidden, freedom he has denied himself, adventure he has avoided, or emotional depth he has never fully accepted. This creates a powerful illusion. The woman he chases becomes a screen where his hidden longings are projected. She appears to hold everything his current relationship seems to lack. Not because his partner has failed him, but because no real person can ever live up to an impossible fantasy. The new connection feels exciting, meaningful, even destined. But here is the surprising part. He is often falling in love with his own imagination rather than the real person standing in front of him. This is why these relationships often begin with overwhelming excitement before slowly falling apart. Reality eventually replaces fantasy. The dream fades because no one can carry the weight of another person's emotional emptiness forever. What happens next might surprise you, because this cycle repeats far more often than most people realize. Think about the man who leaves his dependable partner for someone adventurous, only to later become frustrated by the very freedom that once attracted him. Or the successful professional who risks everything for someone who listens with kindness, then slowly pulls away when she asks for the same emotional support in return. These are not simply stories of believing the grass is greener somewhere else. They reveal an old psychological cycle that keeps repeating. The search was never really about finding the perfect woman. It was about trying to fill an empty space inside himself. Beneath all of this is another hidden force. Every person carries parts of themselves they have learned to hide. These may include fear, sadness, emotional need, passion, or vulnerability. Instead of disappearing, these feelings remain buried and quietly influence behavior. A man chasing another woman is often trying to reconnect with those forgotten parts of himself without realizing it. The new woman represents freedom, excitement, or emotional escape, while his current relationship becomes linked with responsibility and routine. This does not mean his partner caused the problem. More often, she simply reminds him of the life he feels trapped inside. He stays caught between two worlds because both choices force him to face uncomfortable truths. Leaving means accepting the consequences. Staying means facing the emptiness he has been trying to escape. Until he looks inward instead of searching outside himself, the pattern continues. He keeps mistaking fantasy for reality, excitement for love, and escape for healing. And that is why, when a man reaches for someone else, without letting go of his current relationship, it is rarely about true love. It is usually a reflection of an unfinished battle happening deep inside his own mind. Don't miss this part, because once you understand this pattern, it becomes much harder to be fooled by the illusion again. Maybe he spent years building a life that looked successful from the outside while quietly feeling empty inside. Everything seemed stable, yet a part of him still longed for excitement, freedom, and something unpredictable. The other woman becomes a temporary escape from that inner conflict. She allows him to experience the excitement he believes is missing without forcing him to tear apart the life he has already created. But this is where the real trap appears. By refusing to face these hidden desires honestly, he guarantees they will continue creating pain instead of helping him grow. The passion, authenticity, and sense of being fully alive that he keeps searching for cannot be found in a secret relationship. They can only be discovered by facing the parts of himself he has been avoiding for years. As long as he keeps blaming his partner for the life he helped build instead of looking inward, the cycle continues. He mistakes emotional chaos for excitement and believes constant uncertainty means he is finally alive. But here is the twist most people never see. The problem was never the relationship itself. The real battle has always been happening inside him. Stay with me, because what happens next explains why so many men stay trapped in this pattern for years without even realizing it. One of the strongest hidden forces behind this behavior is the mind's ability to separate different parts of life into different boxes. This allows a man to give completely different roles to different women without feeling the full weight of his contradictions. His long-term partner often represents safety, family, routine, and the image he wants the world to see. The other woman becomes connected with excitement, emotional release, adventure, and the chance to feel like a different version of himself. This separation does not happen by accident. It protects him from facing the difficult task of bringing every side of himself into one honest relationship. If he showed his complete self to one person, including his fears, flaws, desires, and confusion, he would have to face emotions he has spent years hiding. That level of honesty feels terrifying. So instead, he divides his world into separate pieces. You may notice that he shares secrets with you that he never tells his partner, while giving his partner parts of himself that you never see. It is not because one woman matters more than the other. It is because each relationship allows him to escape something missing in the other. Don't miss this part, because once those separate worlds begin to collide, everything starts falling apart much faster than he expected. This is why men caught in this pattern often become nervous when expectations begin to grow. The problem is not only the fear of being discovered. The deeper fear is losing control over the carefully separated life they have created. When the other woman wants consistency, honesty, or a real future together, the fantasy starts turning into reality. When the partner begins asking difficult questions, the walls between those separate worlds begin to crack. There are clear signs that you may be serving as emotional relief instead of being loved as a true partner. Does he only contact you when he feels lonely, stressed, or frustrated? Do most conversations revolve around his problems while your own feelings stay in the background? Does he describe his partner as cold, controlling, or impossible while making you feel like the only person who truly understands him? That story may sound convincing, but it often hides his refusal to take responsibility for his own choices. The biggest sign is his resistance to openness and commitment. No matter how emotionally close you become, he always finds a reason why the relationship cannot move forward. That reveals a painful truth. He is not chasing you because of who you truly are. He is chasing the emotional comfort and escape you provide. In the end, everyone remains stuck between fantasy and reality. At the center of this entire pattern is emotional immaturity. It is the inability to balance freedom with responsibility, passion with stability, and personal desires with lasting commitment. What happens next might surprise you, because this inner struggle explains far more than most people ever imagine. A man who keeps more than one relationship alive while fully committing to none often lives with an exhausting inner conflict. One moment he tries to be the perfect partner, the next moment he wants complete freedom with no limits. He moves back and forth between these opposite sides, never realizing that real emotional growth comes from bringing them together instead of keeping them apart. In his main relationship, he may appear loyal, dependable, and responsible. Away from it, he may secretly chase excitement, mystery, or forbidden experiences. Yet this split keeps him from becoming the complete person he quietly hopes to be. Every relationship slowly turns into a role instead of a real connection. He is always performing, always adjusting, but rarely showing his true self. This pattern often reflects someone who remains emotionally stuck, still chasing the excitement of youth while fearing the responsibilities that come with deeper commitment. New romance feels like personal growth. Intense emotions feel like true love. Escaping difficult conversations feels like freedom. But none of those things bring lasting happiness. Once the excitement fades, the same empty feeling returns and the search begins again. Here is the surprising part. He is not addicted to love itself. He is often addicted to the beginning of love because beginnings ask for very little while lasting relationships ask for honesty, patience, and emotional courage. Stay with me because the roots of this pattern usually reach much deeper than most people ever imagine. Many of these behaviors begin long before adulthood. Childhood experiences often shape the way someone understands love, commitment, and emotional safety. Maybe he watched one parent struggle under endless responsibility and quietly learned that commitment steals freedom. Maybe he grew up believing love had to be earned by playing a certain role instead of simply being accepted. Some men repeat the relationship patterns they witnessed at home because those behaviors became normal to them, even if they caused pain. Others spend years searching through different relationships for the attention, comfort, or emotional security they never received as children. Without realizing it, they keep trying to heal old wounds with new people. The painful truth is that no relationship can repair what someone refuses to face within themselves. Those hidden emotional scars quietly guide their choices again and again. The greatest irony is that while trying to escape the past, they continue recreating it. Every new beginning eventually leads to the same emotional destination because the real problem never changed. It traveled with them. Don't miss this part. Until those old patterns become visible, they continue controlling the future without asking for permission, making every fresh start feel strangely familiar. The saddest part of this psychology is that it often looks like freedom while becoming its own prison. By refusing to fully choose one path, he prevents every relationship from reaching its true potential. He keeps an exit door open just in case, believing it protects him, when in reality it keeps him emotionally disconnected from everyone around him. The walls he builds to avoid feeling trapped slowly become the walls that keep real love out. As his relationships remain shallow, he convinces himself that lasting love simply does not exist, never realizing that his own fear created that outcome. Breaking this cycle requires something he has been avoiding all along. It demands honesty with himself, responsibility for his choices, and the willingness to stop using other people to fill emotional gaps. If you ever find yourself attracted to a man who is already committed, take a moment and ask an important question. What role are you actually playing in his story? Are you being loved for who you truly are? Or are you simply becoming the person who makes his emotional struggles easier to ignore? It is easy to believe that your understanding, patience, or love will finally heal him. That belief can feel powerful, but it can also become a dangerous illusion. Ask yourself something even more important. Do you want to be someone's temporary escape or the person they openly choose every single day? Do you want to live inside someone's fantasy, or do you deserve a place in their real life? The answer to those questions changes everything. What happens next might surprise you, because the way he speaks about his current relationship often reveals the truth long before his actions ever do. If he constantly describes his partner as the problem while presenting himself as someone who has done nothing wrong, pay close attention. That says much more about his emotional growth than it does about his relationship. A healthy connection leaves room for both people to have feelings, needs, boundaries, and imperfections. But when someone is caught in hidden emotional patterns, they often need you to stay inside a very specific role. You become the perfect listener, the easy partner, the exciting escape, or the person who never asks for too much. Ask yourself something important. Does he truly want to know the real you with your strengths, fears, opinions, and difficult moments? Or does he only celebrate the version of you that fits the story he has created in his mind? There is a huge difference. As long as he remains emotionally tied to another relationship, what feels like incredible chemistry may actually be his deeper mind searching for something missing inside himself instead of building a real connection with you. Before your emotions become even more involved, slow down and ask a few honest questions. Am I filling an emotional gap that only he can heal? Does he truly see me as a complete person instead of simply comparing me with someone else? Could this relationship survive if he had no other relationship to hide behind? Stay with me, because the answers to these questions can save you from years of emotional confusion. The most important question may be the simplest one. Am I showing myself the same respect that I am showing him? These questions are not meant to judge anyone or make you feel guilty. They exist to protect your peace and remind you that someone else's emotional struggles should never become your lifelong burden. The strongest relationships are built when two emotionally healthy people meet each other honestly, not when two wounded people expect the other person to fill every empty space inside them. If he cannot choose you completely while still holding tightly to another relationship, there is little reason to believe he will suddenly become emotionally available later. Promises made during emotional moments often disappear once reality returns. Your heart deserves much more than being someone's temporary comfort or emotional bandage. It deserves someone who chooses you fully, not only when life feels exciting, but also when life becomes difficult. There is a powerful difference between having compassion for someone's pain and allowing that pain to become your own. Understanding another person's struggles does not require sacrificing your own well-being. The moment you stop focusing only on changing him and begin paying attention to your own choices, your power begins to return. What happens next might surprise you, because the strongest relationship in this entire story has never been the one between you and him. It has always been the relationship you build with yourself. Perhaps the most freeing truth of all is this: his actions were never a measure of your value. The attraction, the mixed signals, the emotional closeness, and the distance all point toward unfinished battles happening inside him, not flaws inside you. A man who keeps reaching for new connections while refusing to release old ones is revealing his own emotional conflict far more than he is revealing your worth. The healthiest response is not to carry his confusion as if it belongs to you. Instead, recognize that his healing is his responsibility. Your energy belongs in relationships where you are appreciated completely, instead of being admired only for the role you temporarily play. Look for someone who is not only attracted to you, but emotionally available, honest with himself, willing to communicate openly, and able to choose you without hesitation or hidden conditions. You deserve to be more than someone's secret, more than an escape from reality, and more than a temporary answer to problems they refuse to face. You deserve openness, respect, consistency, and love that never asks you to compete with someone else. If this discussion connected with your own experiences, share your thoughts below. Someone reading your story may finally understand what they have been struggling with for years. And remember this simple truth: the moment hidden patterns become visible, they begin to lose their control. Real change starts with awareness. Instead of leaving your future to chance, choose self-respect, clear boundaries, and relationships where you never have to shrink yourself just to be loved. Thank you for staying until the end, and most importantly, thank you for choosing to value yourself enough to walk away from anything that offers less than the love and honesty you truly deserve.